Hey nerdy knitters, have you ever cast on for a lace project only to discover that your cast on was too tight? I mean when you have to cast on a lot of stitches, like 200, 300, maybe even 400 stitches for a lace shawl, something where you want that nice scallopy wavy edge. You cast on, you work a few rows, and you discover that your cast on is too tight. There's nothing worse than finding out after you've cast on that many stitches that you didn't cast on loose enough. You might have tried to use 2 needles or worked really loose and it didn't quite come out the way you wanted. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you a lace cast on that works really well when you need a really stretchy cast on for a lot of stitches for a lace project. Before we jump in, I just want to say, hey, I'm Tanya here at Nerdy Knitting. I'm a certified knitting instructor and a knitwear designer, and the goal of this channel is to help you become a confident, adventurous knitter. One way you can do that is by learning different cast-on methods, like the lace cast-on we're going to look at today. You'll find timestamp links and instructions for this cast-on method down in the video description box. Here's a picture of what this lace cast-on looks like. You can see it produces a really decorative edge, and when you pull on it, it stretches a lot. Of course, I just worked it in stockinette, but you can see already how it curves and how it would work really well for a lacy, scallopy edge. You'll need your knitting needles and your yarn for this cast on, and start by putting a slip knot on the left needle. And once that's there, you're going to bring the yarn forward over the left needle from back to front, sort of like a reverse yarn over. You're going to hold it there. You might have to use your finger to hold it in place, and then you're going to take your right needle and put it into the space between the slip knot and the yarn over, and between the left needle and the yarn. Wrap the yarn as if you're going to knit, and you're going to pull that new stitch through, and then hold your needles parallel and slip that new stitch onto the left needle. And then you're going to just keep repeating these 2 steps. You'll make that reverse yarn over, bringing the yarn from the back to the front, and you'll hold it there while you put the right needle into the space between that last cast on stitch and the yarn over, making sure you're in between the yarn and the needle, and pulling a new stitch through, placing it on the needle. Yarn over, make the new stitch, and place it on the needle. You just repeat that process until you've cast on all of the stitches you need, ending with a stitch that you've pulled through and placed on the needle. And you'll see this produces an odd number of stitches. So if you have an odd cast on number, then that works just fine. If your cast on number has to be even, then just drop the slip knot from the end after you work that first row. This cast on reminds me of a cable cast on combined with a yarn over bind off, if you're familiar with either one of those. With a cable cast on, you have 2 stitches on your needle and you insert your needle between them to create the new stitch and pull it through and put that on your needle, and you work that across the row. And to work a yarn over bind off, you work a basic bind off, but you add yarn overs in between each stitch to create more stretch in the bind off edge. And we're using that same technique here in our cast on as well. Now you know how simple it is to work a decorative lace cast on that you can use for your shawl knitting projects whenever you need a really decorative, pretty, and very stretchy edge. Now if you're looking for some stretchy bind offs, make sure you check out the video I've linked right here. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and be sure to subscribe if you like to get nerdy with your knitting.